So before I show you one exciting gambit that also involves a beautiful queen trap, allow me to show you how I build these gambits and all of my opening repertoires which I present on YouTube using this powerful tool called Chessbook. Why am I doing this? I want to show you what strong players are hiding from you, the tool that they use to beat you guys. So you have all the reasons to watch this video up to the end. This is me now revealing my own secrets and the secrets of other strong players. Right, many of you guys do ask me this one big question, like, Casper, what chess tools do you use? What software is that? How do you remember your opening repertoires so well and predict your opponent's moves like a magician? Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Chessbook, which you can simply find at chessbook.com. So before I show you some exciting traps, what exactly is Chessbook? Think of it as your personal coach, guiding you through the world of chess openings with ease and efficiency. The most interesting part that I found is the ability to play against your own opening repertoire, as if you're playing a live match against your human opponent. Here is the main screen that you're going to find once you log into chessbook.com. And the first thing that you see is repertoires. The question is, do you want to make an opening repertoire with white pieces, or you want to make an opening repertoire for black pieces? And it's up to you to click on add new if you want, or just to click on any of these buttons, whichever repertoire you want to create. So for example, let me build my own repertoire. By default, the board is always set from white's perspective. So if I want to create an opening repertoire for white, I can just start right away making moves. But in this case, I want to create an opening repertoire for black, just a simple one. If I have an already existing study, I can click on import, and then I'll be able to import a PGN study, either from Lichess or chess.com, whatever. And if I want, I can also set my repertoire settings, like how I want my repertoire to be named. So I can click on start building your repertoire if I want to, or just start making moves direct on the board. For example, I want to prepare for d4 when my opponent plays d4. What do I play as black against d4? Well, the move I want to play is knight to f6. And already I can see that Chessbook says, according to my Lichess database, c4 is expected to be seen, but a move I would love to see is pawn to c4 here. And one cool feature is that Chessbook is full of hints, you guys. It's like you are studying a book. It's explaining all the ideas behind these moves. Great stuff. So after c4, the move I would love to play is pawn to e5. And after d takes e5, instead of playing the actual Budapest defense or the Budapest gambit with knight to g4, I want to surprise my opponent by going knight to e4. And true to Chessbook's results, if you check on Lichess as well, knight to f3 is the top played move in this position, which most of your opponents are expected to play. And now what I like to do in this position, guys, is to take as much time as I can to let my opponent relax and see the next possible blunder that I'm going to make deliberately. Because I don't want my opponent to be pre-moving in the opening stage. I want him to see my next possible blunder. So after knight to f3, the move I like playing is pawn to b6, just to tease my opponent. And what this does is it gives white an option to play queen d5. Why queen d5? Because two of my pieces are defenseless at the moment, as you can see. My rook on a8 is under attack, and my knight on e4 is also under attack, and there's no real way I can defend both. So see you guys, in this position, the move I want to play in order to tease my opponent is bishop b7. And now three pieces are hanging, you guys. The knight, the bishop, and the rook indirectly. I mean, because this bishop on b7 is not defended by any piece. This is how I make my crazy gambits and openings with these two, you guys. Check it out. What's the idea behind this move? According to Chessbook, queen takes b7 is expected to happen in about 223 games. So white will gladly take this free bishop because it appears to be free, and that's the idea. And now the plan is to go knight c6, ladies and gentlemen, which almost traps white's queen. So you can see the message that has appeared here. It says you have reached your coverage goal. Do you want to keep adding moves or save your progress? It's up to me to decide. So I want to keep adding moves, you guys. Because this is fun, right? Now look at what Chessbook is telling me, you guys. If white plays queen s6, that will be a blunder. Because if queen s6 is played, I know most of you guys are thinking of the move knight b4 to try and threaten that queen once more, but that's not the idea. The move to remember here is bishop b4 check. The idea is to first of all cover the a3 square so that white's queen can't escape. After bishop d2, for example, guess the move, ladies and gentlemen. Knight c5 in this position promises to win that queen. Maybe white can try queen b5, but it's already too late because the idea is not to play s6 right away, but first of all to take on d2 with check, and whichever knight they take back with, this is when we simply go pawn to s6 to trap our opponent's queen. How cool was that, you guys? So that's how you sacrifice one of your minor pieces in an effort to trap your opponent's queen. If you want to go back, you can use your left arrow on the keyboard and see what else you can do. And I can even analyze this opening repertoire with Lichess if I want to. For example, I can click on this button, the analyze button, and it will redirect me to Lichess, and I'll be able to go through my opening repertoire once again. For example, this is Lichess now. You can see I can turn on the engine if I want to and start analyzing with Stockfish. So anyways, after I finish making my opening repertoire, what I do is just to save these moves to my repertoire. And if you want, you can also import your own chess study, by the way, and use that. So here is the magic now, you guys. If I save these moves, I'm going to see this scale saying your black repertoire is 1% complete. Not much of a stretch. If I want to see more about my opening repertoire, like in terms of which gaps I left, I can just click here, go to your next gap, and then Chessbook will show me which other lines my opponents would play that I didn't include in my opening repertoire. So if I want, I can also include this line and start working on this, but that's not the purpose of this video. Again, I can go to my next gap and see what else my opponent can play. For example, I did not include this line pawn to a3 in my opening repertoire. So what Chessbook is telling me is, hey Casper, your opponents might also play pawn to a3 based on what we have seen on Lichess. Great. But what about my biggest gap? What else? Oh, most of your opponents like playing pawn to e4. Right, I'll look into that next time. So now I can click on back. If I want to add another repertoire, I can just click here, go to repertoire settings. So now here's the big part, you guys. I just finished creating my opening repertoire, or maybe I just finished importing my already existing study, which I have on Lichess. So what next? I can practice the moves, you guys, by clicking right here. So I click on practice moves, and since I'm using a free version right now, there are some options that I can't see here, which is why I highly recommend that you guys subscribe for a premium version of this. Anyways, I don't want to practice the recommended moves. I just want to practice a specific opening that I added. So I click here, and it's like I'm playing against a real human opponent, you guys. Check out. I should start with knight to f6, and Chessbook has already hinted me that there are 11 plies or 11 moves which are due for review that I included in my opening repertoire. So if I want, I can practice those 11 moves which are due for review, or practice all moves from here. So let me just say practice 11 moves which are due for review. Pop. So I should play knight f6, right? And then it's showing me what else to play. So here I know the move is pawn to e5, but let's just see what happens if I make a mistake like pawn to e6. It will tell me to play the correct move on the board, which is pawn to e5, by the way. Right, so what's with these arrows? Remember, you are practicing these for the first time. So Chessbook is simply showing a reminder arrow since this is our first time practicing this move. So let's do that. Pop, I said go pawn to b6, and after queen d5 by white, you play bishop b7. So we're just going through the moves since this is our first practice. I said knight c6. If queen a6 is played, you don't go knight b4 first because that will give white time to go queen a3, securing their queen. You first of all go bishop b4, ensuring that white doesn't have queen a3, right? After you play knight c5, trapping their queen somehow. And after queen b5, by the way, you don't play pawn to a6 to try and trap that queen, because in some lines you're going to lose two minor pieces. So you first of all take on d2 with check, and then this is when you play a6 and take your opponent's queen like this. Nice, you guys. So now Chessbook gives me a chance to play through these moves once again without those hints, and now it will look like I'm playing against a real human opponent, which you don't see most of the times, you guys, on most chess websites. And right above here, I'm able to see my progress, like how many mistakes I made, how many correct moves I made, and how many more moves are due for review. If I don't know the answer from here, I can say I don't know the answer. Quite alright. The move is knight e4, which we covered. And after knight to f3, I said I can give my opponent as much time as I can to allow him see the next possible blunder, queen d5. So here I would play pawn to b6, allowing queen d5 to happen as if I made a blunder. After queen d5, I said bishop b7 is the move, and after queen takes, I go knight c6, and again, instead of going knight b4, I play bishop b4 check, first of all, to make sure that the a3 square is still covered by my dark squared bishop, and after any move like bishop d2, this is when I play knight c5 to try and trap my opponent's queen. If I want to continue practicing, I can click on got it, continue practicing, or exit practice and view in repertoire builder. The idea is after queen b5, I first of all take the bishop on d2 with check, and then play pawn to a6 to trap the queen finally and take that queen. And Chessbook will continue giving me random positions to see if I have really understood my opening repertoire. So this is what I use most of the times to create my courses and other interesting videos on YouTube like the ones you see, you guys. I highly recommend that you check it out. It's what most strong players are using, but they can't just tell you, they can't just disclose these golden tools to you guys because they don't want you to be as good as they are. My God. So back to the main page, I can log out if I want, and next time I come back, I'll see these stats showing me how many mistakes I made, the performance of my opening. I can click here, and these are the common openings that I play on Lichess. Remember that I connected my Lichess account to Chessbook, and so this report was generated from the last 916 games on my connected account in the last 90 days. It's like I win more with a Zuckertot opening Slav invitation. And here are my worst openings that make me lose most games. You don't usually see these kinds of reports on other chess platforms, you guys. Again, I highly recommend and endorse Chessbook. If you want, you can also click here and correct the mistakes that you made. And here I can see I made about 1% progress on my opening repertoire because I didn't do much of the study. I didn't add many lines. I didn't cover many things. So my opening repertoire is incomplete. That's why it says 1% complete. I need to add more lines to fill the remaining gaps. And oh, before I forget, a recent addition in the premium version of Chessbook is the playthrough model game feature, which presents games related to your openings, allowing you to learn and guess the moves, you guys. So this is why they give you a random notable game played by Fischer or Magnus Carlsen, which is related to your opening repertoire or to your openings, and then you start practicing through that game. So when practicing, you have options to customize your training, such as the number of moves to practice at once. You can also add your entire repertoire manually or import it from platforms like Lichess or PGN Files. Now back on the main window, all you need to open a free account on chessbook.com is your email address, and then you create your password. After you do that, you're going to be redirected to this page, and the first thing you always want to do, like in any other app, is to click on settings, right? And then you start setting up these preferences according to your liking. For example, most of my opponents are rated above 2100 on Lichess. As you can see, that's why on the first setting, when I clicked here, I chose 2100 plus as my rating range, and from which platform I chose Lichess. So this is used to determine which moves my opponents are likely to play within this rating range. What Chessbook is doing is that it's fetching data from the Lichess database to see how 2100s and higher rated players play in certain lines. Click on back. The second setting is cover positions seen in. So this is where you choose the size of your repertoire, for example. You can click here and choose what size repertoire do you want to create. For example, when you choose 1 in 75 games, it means your repertoire will be complete when you have a response to all moves you will see in at least 1 in 75 games at your level. Right, but my preference is bulletproof, 1 in 400 games. That's what I chose. Done with this setting. Practice. Well, it's up to me to choose whether I want to practice through individual moves or complete lines. You know, I'm a fan of complete lines connected to. This will let you review the opening mistakes in your online games. For example, I can connect to Lichess and grant chessbook.com access to my Lichess account. Authorize. And back to the main Windows settings. If I want to, I can also connect my chess.com account right here. So right now, this is connected to Lichess, right? Appearance, my favorite. So if you click on appearance, you are able to choose the board version that you are used to. For example, you can use the Chessbook board appearance, which is their default, or the Lichess one, or the chess.com one, even the Anarchy chess board appearance. Great. I love the Lichess one. Anyways, piece animation, you can just leave this on normal. Sound effects, I like hearing the sound of my pieces and the board. And finally, here you have an option to upgrade your subscription to premium in order to add unlimited moves. With a premium subscription, you will be able to add more than 200 moves in your opening repertoire. So even with a free account, you're good to go, but I highly recommend a premium subscription, which only costs, $5 you guys. And lastly, you can also enable these beta features so you'll be able to practice in the middle game plans in your repertoire during review. And that's it. The other thing is you can join the Chessbook Discord if you want to. They have a big community on Discord, and there you will have chance to talk to the developer of this application or website, whose name is Marcus. You can also share your feedback to the developers. And of course, this video was sponsored by Chessbook. And I can proudly say that I use this tool on a daily basis. And most of the times I use the Chessbook board when presenting my videos on YouTube. The link to chessbook.com is in the comment section down below and also in the video description. Let me know what you think about Chessbook, you guys, and let me know what you think about the trap that I just showed you.